Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is Pat McGrath. I have had this in my possession for a little bit now, just haven't filmed with it yet. This is the Mothership Huetopian Dream palette. I couldn't resist. You know I have the Divine Rose. I also have the Divine Rose 2. And then I seen this purple shade in this palette. I could not resist this purple shade right here. It just looked so gorgeous. And if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I have a love obsession with purples. And also pinks, mauves. You can tell by looking at this palette. This is kind of just my palette. And you can tell that I've been playing with it already. I couldn't help myself. When I got it in the mail, I had to play with it. But of course, when I got it in the mail, it was before my son started school, so I hadn't had a chance to film with it yet. And he has started school, but I had like other videos that I had already pre-filmed that I wanted to edit and post before doing my newer videos. So today I want to do a look for you with the Huetopian Dream palette, and then give a review at the end of what I think about the palette, whether I think it's on par with her other stuff or not. So let's just jump right in. I think I'm gonna go with one of my bigger brushes. I'm gonna go with this one. I always use rougher brushes. I've been obsessed ever since I started buying them from the concept store, so of course I'm gonna use my rougher brushes for all of my eye looks. I've been using rougher brushes for a while now. I absolutely love them. I feel like they blend so easy, and they are having a Labor Day sale, but maybe I'll try to post this on Monday, which is after Labor Day. I think Labor Day is on a Sunday this year. But I'm gonna try and post this maybe this weekend. I'll try and post this one because Rougher Brushes is having a 40% off sale on their whole entire website for Labor Day, and I definitely think it is worth it. I love their brushes. I have pretty much all of their eye brushes. I have a bunch of their face brushes. This is the powder brush. It's the number 25. I have their number 22 bronzer brush, and then I have the number 5, which can be a more like contour brush I use it for basically, or sometimes I'll use it for blush. And then we have the number 4, which is an angled brush, and I use this one mainly for blush. I just love an angled brush for blush. It just fits your cheek so nicely. But I got all of these through the concept store, which is usually 40 to 50% off, but now they have the whole site 40% off, which I think is a great deal for natural hair brushes, if that's your thing. Anyways, I went into a whole spiel there. Anyways, let's get into the look. I'm so excited to do a look for you. It's going to be one of the favorite looks that I've been doing with the palette, so I hope you like it. I'm going to go first into, I did not save the sleeve that has the names on them, but I'm just going to point. I'm going to go into this shade first. It is the lightest matte, and I'm just going to stick that all up in my crease. It is definitely darker. Oh, I forgot to prime. First, let me prime my eyelids. Okay, now that I've primed my eyelids, let's go in, and I'm going to just place that in my crease. A little bit above my crease because I like to do a little bit above my crease. I absolutely love Pat McGrath's formula. Her formula is so good. Okay. Now that I've done that, I'm going to take my rougher number 14, which is just smaller blending brush. And I'm going to go just in my outer, probably in my crease too, but also in my outer corner with this shade right here. It's the deepest matte in the palette. And I do find that there's 3 mattes in here in this Mothership palette. The Divine Rose and the Divine Rose 2 only have 2 mattes in it. because this one right here is also a matte, whereas in the Divine Rose 2, they have a shade that's similar to this, but it's like a satin shade. It's not a full matte shade. It's just the satin, which is like a shimmer, but not really a super shiny shimmer. It's more subtle, so I guess that's for people who don't like. Who doesn't like too much of a shimmer? Just gonna take a little bit at a time because this shade is pretty dark and I don't want it to get too dark in my look. I'm gonna take it into my crease too, but a little bit lower than where I had the other shade. Why does that look so much better than my other eye? Why? Here lately I've been doing my left eye a little bit better than I do my right eye. I don't know what's going on with that. My left eye is just looking so much better. Let's see if I can. I'm gonna go in with a little bit smaller blending brush. This is the number 13, and I'm gonna just go back into the first shade I did and go over the edge. I'm gonna go back into the first shade, first brush that I used, and just gently blend and buff over the edges. That is looking phenomenal, if I do say so myself. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the shimmer now. Y'all know I'm going in with the purple. You already know, if you know me, that I'm gonna use the purple. So I'm gonna take my NYX glitter glue. I'm gonna put it on like a flat brush. I'll use this one. This is my rougher number 28. It's a flat brush. It's great for packing on pigment. I am gonna apply this shade with my finger though. I'm just gonna put the glitter glue on with a brush because I want the glitter glue to be precise on my lid. But also I found out when using this palette that this particular shade, the purple shade, is best applied with a finger. It comes out more opaque with a finger application, even when using glitter glue. So that's why I'm going to use a finger with it. So now we're going to go in with, I'll show you. So now I'm going to go with the purple. It's going to go, I'm just going to use my finger with it. That's what I've been doing with my other ones, and that seems to be the best thing. And then I just pat it on my lid where I stuck the glitter glue. And it just applies it the best. This is almost like a glitter formula, or like a flaky. It is just so beautiful. Look at that. Oh, look how beautiful that is. I love it. I'm just gonna go and do the other eye, and then we'll do the inner corner and the lower lash line. We're just gonna go back into the first brush we used. I'm just gonna sweep that over my crease, just for blending purposes only. Just wanted to blend in nicely. We're gonna go into the brush that we use on the outer corner. I'm just gonna take a very tiny bit and just pat it over the edge. Just want it to look seamless between the two. My lower lash line, I'm gonna take my rougher number 2, which is a shade of brush. I'm gonna go into that hot pink shade, and that's gonna go on my lower lash line for like a pop of color. I'm gonna go into this shade, the last matte shade that's in the palette. I'm just gonna use that as a pop of color on my lower lash line. Now we're gonna do an inner corner highlight. And my favorite rougher brush for inner corner highlights is the number 3 brush. It's a very teeny tiny brush. And I think I'm just gonna go into the shade that's above this shade, and I'm going to put that one in my inner corner today. It's very much reminiscent of the same type of formula as the other shade. It's the same type of formula as the purple shade. I just rather apply this with my brush than my finger because it's hard to get in that little tiny area with my chubby fingers. And there we have it. That is my, and I'm finished with my eye look. I'm gonna go off camera and put on some mascara and some eyeliner in my waterline, and then I'll be back to show you my completed look. And okay, I'm back, and this is the completed look using the Pat McGrath Divine Rose Heutopian. Why am I saying Divine Rose? It is not the Divine Rose. It is a Pat McGrath Huetopian Dream palette. I love how the look turned out. It's just so stinking gorgeous. The purple is out of this world. You know what? I forgot to stick a lip shade on, so let me do that real quick. I'm just going to use this one. This is Divine Rose from Pat McGrath. Okay, so this is my completed look using the Pat McGrath palette. I love how it turned out. The inner corner is nice and bright. The purple is freaking gorgeous. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this look. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the rundown on what else I put on my face, just so when I go to edit this I can remember everything I used. So for my primer, I just used my usual e.l.f. Cosmetics Holy Hydration Hydrogel Moisturizer. This little guy, I think it's like $8 or $10. I love this. It has a nice light refreshing scent, light fresh scent, and it just makes your face feel hydrated without being too overly hydrated. And I top it off with my Glossier Future Dew, because that has lately been like the perfect combination to make my foundation look amazing on my dry skin. And I've been testing out a new foundation, which I wore today. This is the Profusion Cosmetics Feel Good Skin Long Wear Skin Perfector. It's supposed to have hyaluronic acid in it, and it's medium to full coverage with supposedly a natural satin finish. That is what I used today, and if you're curious, my shade is Fair 3, which says that it's cool pink. So far, I have been liking this. My concealer is just my usual duo of my e.l.f. Cosmetics Hydrating Concealer and my e.l.f. Cosmetics Camo Concealer. I use the camo one on the inner corner of my eyes for a bright, light and brighter look. And then I use this hydrating one more on the outskirts of my face, just because it's a little deeper for a light and a bright under eye. And together it gives me the perfect bright under eyes, and it covers my blue purple veins that I have going on in my inner corners. And I set my under eyes with my e.l.f. Cosmetics under eye setting powder that I got honestly a long time ago as a freebie when I ordered off the e.l.f. Cosmetics website. And I don't know what I'm going to do when it's gone, because it's my favorite under eye setting powder. It's just a white powder, but it's very finely milled, and I don't know, it sets them perfectly without making them look super dry. And I set the rest of my face with my Too Faced Peach Perfect setting powder. Now this is a mattifying setting powder, and it's pretty old. I've had this is the first setting powder I've ever bought, and I'm still trying to just use this up. They don't sell this anymore. It's been discontinued, but I am trying to use up the one I have, so that's the one I used today. You already know my eye primer is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Putty Eye Primer. Today I used the shade Rose instead of the shade White like I've been using. I used the shade Rose, which just looks more. This is what people say is a dupe for the MAC Paint Pot and Painterly, which I actually bought a MAC Paint Pot and Painterly because it was on sale. So I guess I can look at it and compare the shades. And it looks like this, the one in Painterly is a little bit more pinkish undertone than the rose shade by Elf Cosmetics. But they do look pretty much the same. The bronzer I used today is my Urban Decay Beached Bronzer in the shade Sun Kissed. I've just been trying to use this one up because it's my oldest bronzer in my collection. I've had this since I started getting into makeup. And you can tell because I have pan in it. That's so satisfying to see. So I'm just trying to use this bronzer up. So that's one of the reasons why I use it. And I absolutely do love this bronzer. It has more of a reddish undertone to it, which I mean works good for my skin because when I get a tan it always tends to have a reddish undertone to it. For my blush today, since I knew I was doing Pat McGrath, I went with my Pat McGrath blush. This is in the shade Nude Venus, which I just thought would be the perfect shade to go with my look today. So I went with that. And also, because I knew I was doing Pat McGrath today, I used my Pat McGrath highlighter in the shade Divine Rose, which I've only used this a few times, but I love it. Looks like this. I don't know if it's still available on Pat McGrath's website. I'm sure it is. It's like a pinky gold reflect highlight, and I just used that as a highlight today, and I used it as like a brow bone highlight on me too. And yeah, that's it. Oh, my mascara is the Elf Cosmetics, the new Big Moon mascara. But on my lower lashes, I use the Wet n Wild Mega Slim Skinny mascara. Just because it has the skinniest wand and it's easy to not, it's easier not to smudge it all over your under eyes because it's such a tiny wand. So I use that for my lower lashes. For my waterline eyeliner, I end up using again my NYX Faux Whites. This is in the shade Lavender Blush. I love it because it's super bright, but it has just like that hint of a lavender color to it, and it just looks so good. My eyebrow pencil I've been using lately is just this Benefit Brow Contour Pro. I found that in a TJ Maxx or Marshalls and picked it up because they had it in my shade, which was light blonde light. So I got it in that shade, and that's what I've been using on my brows. And just until I use it up, it's my latest pencil. Anyways, that's it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed this look at the palette. I definitely think that this palette is the same. It's the same amazing Pat McGrath formula that you're used to. So if you like the Pat McGrath formula, you're gonna love this palette. Do I think you need it if you have Divine Rose 1 and 2? Definitely if you have Divine Rose 2. I don't feel like you really need it because you almost have this same color story in Divine Rose 2. The only thing different is the purple shade, honestly. Because this shade is even in there, but it's more pink. It's more of a pink than this is like a peachy pink. So it's more, or like a corally pink, I guess you could say. It's more pink, and it's not a matte shade, it's a satin shade. But honestly, satin shades I use as mattes, and they work just as good because they don't have too much shine to them. But they also have this shade here is almost the exact same shade that they have in the palette. It's the Trio Chrome or Multi-Chrome from Pat McGrath. I think it's pretty much the same shade as what they have in the palette. I believe this shade's also in that palette. I just don't see too much difference between the second one and this one. I got this one mainly for this shade. Yes, I bought a palette for one shade alone. And I do like the fact that she has 3 mattes in this palette, so That's the main reason I got it. I'm not regretting my purchase. I'm so happy with this. I've already been playing with it and I love her formula. So, and these are like palettes that I'll never get rid of because they're my favorite. This is my favorite formula. Mattes, shimmers, everything. Her special shades are just out of this world. I know I'll never get rid of my big Motherships. Whereas probably my smaller palettes I have from her, I don't think they're quite as special. But these bigger palettes are definitely a special palette. For sure. I just loved it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You got to enjoy like the look I did. Yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day, night, or weekend, wherever it is. And if you're not yet subscribed, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider subscribing to my channel. And don't forget to ring the bell. That way you'll be notified of all my future uploads. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.